Morning. Today we're doing the Knole House Deer Park and Igtham Mote circular. It's 6 o'clock in the morning, and so far everything that could have gone wrong has gone wrong. Hopefully things will improve, but I'm not holding my breath. Anyway, this is quite a long one. This is about 8.5 miles, 13.9 kilometres I think. So as always, let's get on it. So yeah, I'm absolutely going. Oh, but I could be completely mistaken. See, one of the things I love is the fact that I'm already a the most serene animal. So yeah, like I said, so far everything this morning has gone wrong. I took about 3 wrong turnings. I had to go back to the house about 3 times because I'd forgotten stuff. And then when we got here, there's building work going on at the moat itself. So it took me about 10 minutes to try and find a sort of start to the route because everything's sort of closed up and it's like a building site. So anyway, we're on it now, and like I say, it's going to be a long one. It's really early in the morning, it's just gone 6 o'clock. So let's see how we go. There's obviously some works going on, some major works by the look of it. And I was reading about this morning. Obviously this is Igtham Mote. It's been here since the 1300s. It's changed hands a few times. I think one family owned it for about 300 years. But it's changed hands a few times, as these places tend to do. And I was reading that in the 1950s it was bought by an American who'd seen it in a Country Life magazine or something, and it reminded me very much. I don't know if that's where the inspiration from the film The Remains of the Day comes from, where Christopher Reeves buys the place. But I came here last year actually and had a look round. It's a fascinating building, absolutely fascinating. This is the closest I've been to a proper old-fashioned host house. This is Mote Farm. Well, that's the first hilly bit of the day. Wasn't terrible, but right at the very start there. Bit of an incline. We seem to have levelled out now, but I'm sure there's more to come. There's that kind of early morning moisture in the air. You know, it's not dew, it's not rain. It's just feels moist, but it's cool as well. You know, so walking in these conditions is actually quite nice. But I know that it's going to get hot today. I think it's going to be about 23, maybe 23, 24. So this is the reason I've come out so early, because I want to try and beat that. And I've got another 9k walk to do tomorrow, so I want to have enough time to get home and rest. But yeah, how far? We're 1.5k in now, so I was as well as Igtham Mote, which I've just talked about and we've seen. We're going through Knole Deer Park, so hopefully that'll be interesting, getting up close with some deer, because it's not every day you see them, is it? So yeah, we'll see how we go with them. Looks like we're about to head up another incline, but on the other hand, we're going to meet some sheep, so alright chaps, I'll leave you to it then. Have a nice day. Now, I've fallen on these steps before through not paying attention, so I'm keeping an eye on them. There's a really strong smell out here this morning, really pungent. I'll be honest, I don't know if it's sheep shit or just the smell of the countryside, but it's really strong. You can see the birds flying over the fields looking for their breakfast. Every now and then you see one hovering and then swooping in. Absolutely amazing to watch. A little path up here heading up back towards Igtham Mote, but that's not the route we're taking. We're going straight ahead for quite a while actually. We'll swerve that mud. Looks like we've got some cows down there in the field. I haven't really got close to any cows yet on these walks. Normally I've found in the past when I've come up to cows, they're normally pretty chilled out, you know. I don't know what it's like when they're, you know, in season or in a group together or whatever, but yeah, in my experiences with cows so far has always been pretty good. They're almost like they just couldn't give a monkeys that you're there or not. I've had to take the jumper off already because it's warming up a little bit. Oh, that's better actually. That's much nicer. Just every now and then keep getting these little. Let's turn around. Keep getting these little snippets through the bushes and what have you. Little snippets of that view. It's amazing the amount of trees must have been cut back to make all this. You know, once upon a time, just all would have been forest, as far as you could see. I'm actually looking forward. I'm quite excited to get closer to those cows because, like I've said, you don't really see cows up close that often. They're always, for some reason, they're always on the other side of the field. So hopefully we'll get lucky. There's that massive white house over there in the distance, far distance. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that that's Knole House, but I'm not 100% sure. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. We'll find out. We're at the 3k mark. And we're going more uphill, so we're walking directly away from those cows, unfortunately, but you know, what are you going to do? Now we've got this to contend with. Fortunately, there's handrails, because otherwise I'm definitely feeling it in my calves walking up there. Not so much the quads, but the calves definitely. There are crazy roots in that tree. Now I did bring the drone today, so I'm just hoping to find somewhere viable to get it out and take it up. Missus, because at the moment everywhere we've been has been sort of surrounded by trees, which is never a good place to take off. But yeah, hopefully we can find somewhere where we can get it up and get over over that beautiful landscape, but B over Igtham Mote as well. Anyway, look at this drop. This is fun. Yeah, you wouldn't want to slip down there, would you? It's a long way down. See, one of the things I love is the fact that I'm already a third of the way through, and we've been walking about an hour, and it's still only 7:30 in the morning, which means that theoretically, by the time you're finished, you've still got a whole day ahead of you to do whatever you want, any number of things. But in my case, I suspect one of those things will be an afternoon nap. But yeah, this is part of the reason I like coming out so early. A, because there's fewer people, and B, because you've still got your whole day ahead. Whew. What I will say to anyone planning on doing this route is you might potentially want to wear long trousers, because it's a bit overgrown in parts. Now, I quite like wearing shorts, I find it easier to get around in. But yeah, you might want to wear trousers, just because in places it's been quite overgrown, especially coming up that hill there. It doesn't look so bad up here. We've got all these paths leading off in various directions. But anyway, I'm waffling now. I'm just waffling. Anyway, this is One Tree Hill. Now, I can promise you there's more than one tree. But how many people have made that joke? How many people have made that joke over the years? But here is one big tree. Spin around. I don't know if that's the tree of One Tree Hill. Who knows? In this direction. Termite's nest or gangster burial site, you choose. It's a bit muddy up here, but at the same time I'm looking around and it looks like a relatively decent place to do a bit of wild camping if you could get up here with your tent and all your bits and bobs. There's some nice flat bits, shaded away in the woods. But I don't know, might be a bit too close to the path. I feel like I'm being drawn over this way. I feel like if I go over this little brow, I'll see something. See? I knew it. I knew it. Look at that. Oh, wow. 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 So unfortunately, my bit of a nightmare of a morning has continued, and since I've updated the drone firmware last night, now the controller's not working, so no drone footage unfortunately, which has really annoyed me, because that really is a sight worth flying over. So yeah, I'm absolutely gutted. It is what it is, and on we go. Yeah, I mean, I'll never understand. I'm not a computer expert. I'm not particularly technically minded. But the amount of times I hear about firmware updates and software updates and stuff like that, and it actually ruins the device. And you always think to yourself, well, why have you released this stuff? If it's not going to work, why do you release it to the public? And then sort of turn around and go, oh, sorry about that. Well, anyway, Sorry, that's annoyed me so much that that I couldn't get that footage. But there's nothing I can do. So we're heading downhill now, towards the road. This has been a bit up and down so far, this walk. It's been all over the place, so it's hard to know what's coming next, but either way. Morning. That looks like hard work, I'm not going to lie. Respect to him, because that does look like hard work. Yeah, walking through here I'm getting covered in cobwebs again, which, you know, doesn't bother me particularly, but no, it's well, actually, yeah, it does bother me a little bit, because you have to keep pulling them off yourself, you know what I mean? So I'm just looking over at that view again, look. Now, what do we think? It's got to be this way, isn't it? It's got to be this way. That's right. What would you call that? Gymkhana? You know, where the horses jump over fences and what have you? That's the first. I haven't seen one of them before on my travels. Here we go. Oh, first style of the day. Yeah. Now, if I was going to do some wild camping, this is probably the kind of place I'd come. Now, before people start having a go and saying it's illegal, you shouldn't do it, X, Y, Z, I'm just saying if. I mean, can you imagine being stuck in here in the middle of the night? On your own, in a tent? I might try it actually. I might give it a go. Sounds like fun. I'll be honest with you. I've got a tent. I've got all the necessary bits and pieces. And I like to give myself a little fright every now and then. So, yeah. Maybe I'll give it a try. Don't tell anyone. No. Apparently, we're straight through here. Just drop my phone. So, apparently they can become aggressive. So, you're not meant to feed the deer. I don't know if that includes striking up a conversation with them. But let's see if we can at least see some. I remember years ago going to Richmond Park and I was walking through like this, and all of a sudden I hadn't seen them because obviously they're dead quiet, and all of a sudden they were just there, loads of them, just like staring at me. And yeah, that was quite an interesting afternoon. It just feels like I've been in the wood for so long that coming out into the open like this is a bit of a shocker. All of a sudden to be in the sort of bright light. So, golf course to my right and woods to my left, and I'm going straight down the middle, and still I haven't seen a deer. I wonder if the deer go on the golf course. East of a tree. Okay, I've just seen my first deer over here in the distance. I'm just going to turn around and expand so you can see it. Okay, so we finally found some deer, or a deer. It's not every day you see them. Beautiful animals they are. Beautiful animals. Well, that was alright, wasn't it? I wish that camera would expand a little bigger than ×2, because it always feels like it's never quite enough. But still, I'm sure we got it in shot, the deer, so all good. Hopefully we'll see some more. I didn't want to get too close to it in case you know, frightened it off or whatever, but there you go. It's a big old park this, I'm not going to lie. If you ever get a chance to come here, Knole Park, Knole, you know, I'm sure it's a lovely day out. I think there's a Knole house as well. So yeah, It's massive. It's one side of Knole House. I have to say I don't know anything about the history of Knole House, but it looks lovely. Beautiful lawns and flower beds. Lovely. What a beautiful house. Seems like there's a lot of work going on. Saw some fellas in a zip up tower around the other side, and these guys in a mute. Let's have a look at this big old tree. It's a 200-year-old sycamore. There you go. I mean, this has got history written all over it, this house. You can almost imagine it being used for Tudor period pieces, that kind of thing. Morning. This one's finding its legs. It's almost even the further back you go, the more stunning that house looks. It's quite incredible. I think I need to find out the history of it when I get back. So this is why you've got to keep your eye on the map at all times, because there's no discernible path here. But this is the way I have to go. There's no signpost to go this way. The actual tarmacked path is going in a completely opposite direction. It's almost like it wants you to get lost. There's a lot of bird activity going on here. I think is that a partridge or a pheasant? I've had no idea. Like most things, I have no idea about birds. That looks like a partridge. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that's a partridge. What do you think? Go on, someone tell me it's a pheasant. I think he's I think the one behind maybe how shall we say, courting the one in front. She doesn't look like she's interested. So we're walking through this golf course now. I've seen quite a few golfers. In fact, there's a couple in front of me now. Yeah, that's what we're doing. Morning. I didn't want to stand there and put the lady off by filming her as she teed off. So I opted for discretion and carried on walking. It's a lovely bit of golf course this, isn't it? Absolutely lovely. Well, until you get a golf ball to the nut, at which point it's not so lovely. Heavy breathing. So incredibly, despite how long we've been walking, which is 2.25 hours, we've only just got to the 8k mark, so there's 5 left. Yeah, five more kilometres. But feels like I've been walking all day. Fortunately, given the state of that on my left, fortunately there's a little path on this side. Golden Green, that's where we're going. That makes a nice change to the view. Looks like it's a stables. That's the Buck's Head. See how these old phone boxes, old traditional red phone boxes, have been repurposed as I'll try it again. Defibrillator storage. I think that's quite clever. I've got to say, these I think I said it in the last film, these hiking trainers that I got from Decathlon, I mean, they're really bloody good. They're really comfy. They're not pinching at all. I've got some hiking boots, and whew, even though I've worn them all over the place, they still pinch on one side of my right foot. But these, within the space of I don't know, two weeks of use, they're absolutely, you know, spot on. And now you barely know that you're wearing them. So good work, Decathlon. So that is exactly 10 kilometres. So we've got about 3 miles to go, and then we're done. Actually, I've got to be honest, it hasn't been too bad. There's been some hilly bits, but I don't know, maybe it always surprises me. Maybe I'm just getting a little bit fitter. I know you wouldn't believe that from the heavy breathing, but maybe I am. You know, I've been doing this a few months now, so maybe I'm just finding it easier to manage those hills, but who knows. Ben Nevis is going to be the test, I'm sure. Anyway, that's 10k, so feels like we're starting to head a bit more downwards. Which is never a bad thing. This is all the way down, which, like I say, isn't a bad thing, except for when you go all the way down, it normally means you've got to come all the way back up again. But we shall see. We'll see what happens. I've just wondered if I'm still in Knole Park or not, or I don't know where I am now. I don't think this is Knole Park anymore, but I could be completely mistaken. Anyway, it's almost like the animals know I'm coming and go to the other side of whatever field I'm on. There's actually quite a few horses. There's 3 up the top and 4 down here. I used to live in a flat a few years ago where it sort of backed onto a place like this, and there were always horses and foxes and you know, that kind of thing, nature. And it was incredibly relaxing and peaceful to just sit there and watch the horses. They're the most serene animal. Beautiful creatures. Well, here we are. Back in the open after what seems like an eternity in the woods and you know, under a canopy of trees. So what are we up to now? 11.4k. There's not much longer to go, I'm sure. I'm sure we'll make it. You know what I mean? You get to that point where you just want to shut your eyes and walk with your eyes with your eyes shut because you're so tired. Yeah, that's sort of how I feel now, a little bit. Sort of where I'm at. I'm still a bit gutted that the drone decided not to work, but like I say, we'll get in touch with DJI and find out what the hell's going on. But what do you reckon? Apple trees? Yeah, must be apple trees. I could go over it, but I'm not gonna. So there's been a few times, you know, that I've thought to myself, it'd probably be easier to run this in, you know, just not all of it, but every now and then you think, oh, this is taking too long. You think if I ran it, it'd probably feel easier. Although I had to ruin all the camera equipment in my bag, so it's probably not the best idea, but you know what I mean. I don't know if there's a more countryside sound than birds and crickets. It's just a constant downward trajectory with steps, and again, as I've said in other films, it always amazes me when you find that you're walking on paths that are stone, like not stoned, paved, and you wonder what period that's from and whether it's intentional. Okay, so we're pretty much at the end of today's walk. That's 13.5k, which is the longest we've done so far. So if you've stuck with us this long, thank you very much. And if you haven't already, please subscribe and like and comment. As I always say, please comment, because we want to know what you think. And until next time, take care.